Welcome to Furniture Industry News. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, 2026, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us. This week has a clear theme. The customer is still out there, but they'll only move when you give them a real reason. We saw it in two furniture earnings reports, we saw it in the confidence numbers, and we saw it in how people shopped the big summer sale. Let's get into it. Let's start with Bassett Furniture, because their quarter tells the story of the whole market right now. On the surface, sales were basically flat. Consolidated revenue slipped less than 1% to about $83.8 million for the quarter ending May 30th. But look underneath the headline and it gets more interesting. Total written sales, that's orders customers actually placed, jumped 9.5%, and wholesale orders rose over 5%. When written sales run that far ahead of reported revenue, it means demand picked up late in the quarter and should show up in the numbers down the road. And here's the part every retailer should pay attention to. Bassett's Memorial Day promotion drove a 14% increase in written sales and a 4% gain in customer traffic compared to a year ago. Their CEO, Rob Spillman, was clear that the housing market is still soft. Nobody's getting a free ride from the economy. But a well-built holiday event pulled people in and got them to buy anyway. The lesson is simple. The right offer still moves furniture. If your Memorial Day fell flat, it's worth asking what Bassett did differently. One more number worth holding on to. Their e-commerce written sales climbed 40%, and average online order value rose 24%. That's where the incremental growth is hiding. Now let's talk about Culp. Culp is a fabric supplier, so they sit upstream from a lot of what ends up on your floor, and their year-end report is a useful window into where demand is heading. They closed the fiscal year with real momentum. Fourth quarter net sales came in around $51.6 million, up nearly 8% from the prior quarter. The star was bedding, where sales climbed over 12% year over year to about $30.5 million, driven by market share gains and new products, especially sewn mattress covers.
But it wasn't all up. Upholstery stayed soft, with full-year sales in that segment down more than 12%, and the company tied that weakness directly to slow home buying activity. So inside one company, you can see the split that's running through the whole industry. Bedding is finding its footing, while upholstery stays chained to the housing market. CEO Ive Culp told Furniture today he thinks this is, in his words, the start of the turn. He also said the company finished a 2-year restructuring. They closed a plant in Canada, consolidated their U.S. operations, and merged business segments, and that all of that work is now done and driving momentum. One more detail that matters. Culp got back a $7 million refund on tariffs they'd previously paid, and they're using it to pay down debt. They expect net debt to drop from around $10 million to about $5 million by the end of their fiscal first quarter. For anyone sourcing soft goods, a healthier, less indebted supplier is a more reliable partner heading into next year. Let's shift to the consumer because we got a fresh read on confidence. The Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index rose slightly in June, up about half a point to 91.2. That's the second small improvement in a row, and the main reason was falling gas prices, which took some pressure off people's inflation fears. The forward-looking part of the survey, the Expectations Index, rose 3 points, and that's the piece that tends to lead actual spending, so that's encouraging. But there's a catch, and it's an important one. People felt worse about the job market. The share of consumers saying jobs are hard to get rose to 22.5%, and that's the highest level since January of 2021. When people feel shaky about their own paycheck, the first thing they do is put off big purchases, and furniture sits right at the top of that list. There was a bright spot, though. About 21% of consumers expected their income to rise over the next 6 months, up from a little over 19% the month before. So the picture is genuinely mixed. Expectations are improving and gas relief is helping, but current conditions and job worries say the risks have reached their frazzle. The takeaway for us is to keep financing options and clear value right up front, and not to read a small confidence bump as a green light to bet big on the second half of the year.
Now the big summer shopping event, Amazon's Prime Day, has turned into something bigger than Amazon. This year, competing promotions turned it into a multi-retailer event, and some of the biggest winners were physical big box stores that used the moment to pull shoppers through their doors. A foot traffic firm called Placer.ai found that 4 big boxes gained the most: Walmart, Target, Kohl's, and Best Buy. Target had the strongest year-over-year traffic performance of the group, while Best Buy saw the biggest jump in incremental traffic. Here's the number that should stick with you. According to Numerator, 52% of shoppers compared prices across retailers during the event, more than half. Walmart was the most checked at 67%, followed by Target at 41% and club retailers at 28%. So people aren't treating a big sale as a single store trip anymore. They're shopping around and price checking before they commit. That's a direct argument for having a visible, defensible price story during any event you run. And the encouraging news is that physical stores clearly still win real foot traffic when the offer is there. As Placer.ai put it, shoppers still want to spend, they're just doing it more deliberately. There's a flip side to that Prime Day story, and it's specifically about home. Our category lost ground. Amazon's home goods category, that's bedding, decor, and furniture, was shopped by 23% of Prime members this year, which dropped it to the 5th most shopped category. Last summer, home ranked 3rd, with about 25% of shoppers. So during a high-intent shopping event, people actually steered away from discretionary home purchases and toward essentials and savings. Average household spending during the event fell about 10% versus last year, and the numerator analyst Amanda Schoenbauer said shoppers shied away from big-ticket purchases and prioritized saving on the essentials. Now, I don't want anyone to hear that and panic. It doesn't mean the category is dead. What it means is that urgency by itself won't carry a big-ticket sale right now. The winning offer pairs a clear reason to buy today with obvious, stackable value. Lead with the deal, make the savings unmistakable, and don't assume the event does the persuading for you. The customer is there. They just need to be convinced.
Let's close with a topic that's on everyone's mind, artificial intelligence, and specifically what it means for the people on your team. A new survey from Express Employment and the Harris Poll found that AI is now common in the workplace. About 79% of hiring managers say their companies use it, including 43% who use it regularly. But here's the reassuring part. 9 in 10 hiring managers say AI will never replace the need for actual employees, and 92% say their company is committed to keeping a human element in the workplace. Where do people say humans matter most? The strongest support for keeping people in the loop was in the sensitive, high-stakes stuff, managing a crisis, making ethics and compliance calls, and handling disputes between employees, all in the low 80s percent-wise. And the functions most reliant on people were human resources, customer service, and notably for us, sales. The CEO of Express Employment, Bob Funk Jr., framed it perfectly. The real value of AI comes from working alongside people, not replacing them. For our industry, that lands close to home because furniture is a relationship business. The smart move is to let AI handle the routine work, analyzing your customer reviews, tracking what competitors are promoting, helping prep your sales training, and then put your people where they matter most, the sensitive conversations and the high-emotion, high-consideration purchase. The tool is the assistant. Your people are still the ones who close the sale. And one interesting wrinkle from the survey, the smallest companies guard that human touch the hardest. 3/4 of businesses with just a handful of employees said they prioritize human interaction in customer service, versus about half of the biggest companies. If you're an independent, that instinct is your advantage, protect it. So that's the week. 2 furniture reports showing demand comes back when you earn it. A confidence read that's cautiously better but still fragile. A shopping event that rewarded the retailers with the clearest value. And a strong reminder that in this business, people are still the point. If you found it useful, take a second to subscribe so you don't miss next week's briefing. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.